Microsoft's first console is the original Xbox, and you might have some memories of the system, or you just want to play some of the older games. You can do this on your PC using an emulator called XEMU. Today I'm going to show you everything you'll need to know to get going. To download the emulator, go to xemu.app. Here is where you'll find links to where you can download the original Xbox emulator. The latest version will always be linked to this download button in the centre of the screen, where it says download for Windows. But don't worry, if you're playing on Mac or Linux, there are alternative download options if you click the button below it. At the very bottom of this alternative download options page, you'll find other releases. Click on this to find older versions of the emulator. For this tutorial, I'm going to be using the latest version for Windows. You're also going to need a few different required files, the first one being the MCPX boot ROM image, the second being a BIOS file, and the third being a hard disk image. You can get a pre-formatted Xbox hard disk image from the XEMU website. The link to it will be posted in the video description, video card and pinned comment. This pre-formatted Xbox hard disk will give you basic functionality and the ability to save. Also in the video description is a link to where you can download everything you're going to need for launching this emulator in one package. But just be aware that the application that's bundled with it might not be the latest version. You're also going to need a file called complex 4627. This will act as a BIOS. Googling complex 4627 Xbox will bring up a download link. Now all of this might seem really complicated, but don't worry. You're only going to need the files that I've got highlighted to get going. We'll link them to the emulator later in this guide. Let's be clear, I downloaded the bundle that's linked in the video description, but instead of using the application and the pre-formatted hard disk image that comes with it, I downloaded those directly from xemu.app. If you've done the same, you'll have something that looks like this. What we need to do is extract the application and the XEMU files. So highlight them both, right click, and then extract each archive as a separate folder. Once that's done, you can delete the zip files. You no longer need them. Enter the folder labelled XEMU files, and then you want to copy the BIOS, the boot ROM image, and the Xbox hard disk folders. The other two folders you don't need for setup. Paste these three files into your XEMU main directory. You also want to move in the file labelled xbox_hdd.qcow2 into there as well. Enter the main directory folder and then move that hard disk image file into the Xbox hard disk image folder. If it says that there's a file already in there of the same name, just press replace. I would also suggest in your main XEMU directory you create a folder called games. This is where you can put any Xbox disk images in and keep them all in one place, making them easier to find. While the emulator does open up, there's a few things you still need to do before you begin playing. It's time to change some emulation settings to your liking. Go to the top left corner and press on Machine and then Settings. Once you're here, select General. There's a few things that I would recommend you turn on. Make sure Check for Updates is selected. This will automatically check if there's any update available and give you a notification to download it if you want to. Also in this General tab is where you can set up the games directory. At the bottom, click the folder and then find the games folder that we created earlier. Press Select Folder to link it. Now you can plug in your controller if you haven't already done so, and then head over to the Input tab. I'm using an Xbox controller in this example. It should automatically map to whichever controller you've connected. However, if it doesn't, you can manually come down to where it says Input Mapping and click the drop down. You'll see Emulated Input, which is the controls of the original Xbox controller, and the Host Input, which is your controller. Find the emulated input that you want to change and then mouse over to Host Input. Click in the box and then just press the button on your controller that you want to change it to. Moving on to the display settings, and here is where you can change XEMU's internal resolution up to 10 times the scale. Toggle on full screen, exclusive full screen, or even change the window size from 640 by 480, the native resolution, all the way up to 3840 by 2160, which would upscale to 4K. These settings can be great if you want to play the game natively as it was back in the day, or upscale it if you're playing on a modern day TV. Some other settings under the interface heading include the ability to toggle off notifications, animations, or the mouse cursor. You can also change the display mode and the aspect ratio, 4:3 being more square shape, while 16:9 being more rectangular. The last step is really important, and it involves all of the files that we extracted earlier. Within settings, go to System. Here is where you're going to link all of those required files. If they aren't linked correctly, you might run into some issues. Click on the MCPX boot ROM and then find where that file is on your system. Click on it and press Open to link it. You'll be doing the same thing for the flash ROM, except this time you'll be clicking on the complex_4627 version 1.03 file. Finally, using the same method, you'll need to link the hard disk image. Find the file named xbox_hdd.qcow2 and then press Open. All three files should now be linked. Once these files are linked, you can't just begin to play. XEMU isn't like other emulators where you can just load a game in either. To save any settings that you might have changed, you need to close the settings menu and then close the emulator itself. Now you can reopen it and we can load a game, but again this won't play straight away. Go to Machine in the top left corner and press Load Disk. Find where the games folder is that we created earlier and the game that you want to play. Once it's open and in XEMU, close the emulator once more. This time when you reopen it, you should see the original Xbox startup animation and the game should begin to load. If you're having issues, don't worry, there'll be another video covering how to fix it, and it's normally to do with the file type of the Xbox disk image. So that's everything you'll need for getting going with XEMU, the original Xbox emulator. Hopefully this helps you relive some of those memories that you might have of the console. Was this guide useful to you? If it was, leave it a like and feel free to share. And do be sure to stick with the channel because there'll be plenty more guides in this and other emulators coming soon.